we're going to move to NBT3. NBT3 asks us to be able to read, write, and compare decimals to the thousands. For this particular standard, we're going to go back to our chart. We're going to plug our digits into our chart. We're going to use our place value with our fractions to help us write our decimals in expanded form to give us a clearer understanding of what place value each digit is in. We're going to use our chart in a similar fashion as we have in the past, as far as placing one digit inside of each column. The difference is, in this particular case, we're going to take our digit, and as we write it in expanded form, we're going to multiply the digit that we placed in our column by whatever the number or fraction that we have above the column to let us know what that number actually represents in expanded form. The first number we're going to use is 326 thousandths. So we're going to place our digits from 326 thousandths into our columns. The first thing that we need to do is line up our decimals. So there's our decimal, there's our decimal. We're going to place the decimal here, which means the 3 goes here, the 2 goes here, and the 6 goes there. Alright, so now I have my 3 inside of my tenths column, my 2 inside of my hundredths column, and my 6 inside of my thousands column. So now I need to break it down. Well, actually I need to expand it. So 3 times 1/10, because that's the column it's in, I'm going to put it in parentheses. My 3 times 1/10. I'm adding it to the digit that's to its right, plus 2 in parentheses times, I just go up to the top of my column, 1 over 100, plus 6 times, go to the top of my column, 1,000. Let's try another one. My next number is 1 and 16 thousandths. The first thing that I need to do is line up my decimals. So I line up my decimals, and then I place one digit inside of each column. So my 1 is in the ones place, the 0 in the tenths place, other 1 is in the hundreds place, the 6 is in the thousands place. So that means I have 1 times 1 plus 0 times 1/10 plus 1 times 100th plus 6 times 1,000. You don't necessarily have to write the 0 times 1/10 because 0 times any number is 0. I just did it to show you consistently how we'll use the chart. Whatever digits in that column is multiplied by whatever you have at the top. Let's try another one. Alright, my next number is 23 and 71 hundredths. My first step, line up the decimals. Have the decimal there, I bring my decimal in the same column. That means my 3 is in the ones place, my 2 is in the tens place, my 7 is in the tenths place, and my 1 is in the hundredths place. You'll always know what place value you're in based on your last digit. My 1 is in the hundredths place. That's how I know that it's 71 hundredths. If my 1 were in the thousands place, like the digit we had prior to this, which was 16, the last digit will dictate your place value. So back to this problem, 23 and 71 hundredths. I have 2, it's in the tens place. So that will be 2 times 10 plus 3 times 1 plus 7 times 1/10 plus 1 times 100. Now you know how to write decimals in expanded form. Now we're going to use our grid to compare decimals. We're going to use the grid to see if a decimal is greater than, less than, or equal to a different decimal. The first thing that we're going to do is line the decimal up. We line the decimal up every time, that way we're not messing up or mixing up the place value. First two numbers we're going to compare are 2 and 745 thousandths and 2 and 729 thousandths. First thing we do is line up our decimals. 2 goes there, 7, 4, 5. Line up the decimals for the next digits or the next number. 2, 7, 2, 9. Again, we still keep just one digit in each column. So if we go to this column here, the 2's are the same. You can either scratch them out or erase them. Next we have 7's in both columns. They're the same. Scratch them out or erase them. Now we're left with 45 and 29, or 4 here and 2 there. 4 is greater than 2, so we know that this number here is greater than the one beneath. Let's compare some more numbers. The first thing that we do, again, line up our decimals. I have 68 thousandths. Place my decimal in first. 0, 6, 8. I have 86 thousandths. Place my decimal in first. 0, 8, 6. Then I have 68 hundredths. Place my decimal in. 6, 8. And 86 hundredths. Place my decimal in. 8, 6. Again, all of my decimals are lined up, but I don't have the same amount of digits in each number. So in order to eliminate confusion, what I would do is place a 0 wherever there's an empty space, so that now I have 3 digits in each column. Now that I have 3 digits in each column, I can compare them more evenly, or compare apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. So if I look at this number, I have 68, I have 86, I have 680, and then I have 860. It's easier for me to see which one is greater now. 68 is less than 86, 86 is less than 680, and 680 is less than 860. Let's try another group of numbers. I have 13 and 9 tenths, 14 and 37 hundredths, 14 and 5 hundredths, and 14 and 4 tenths. The first thing that we need to do is line up the decimals. Place my decimal there. There's a 9 on that end, and a 3 and a 1. Place my decimal in there. Next to the decimal is a 3, then a 7. Next to it is a 4 and a 1. Place my decimal. 0, 5, 4, 1. Place in my next decimal. 4, 4 on this side, and a 1. Now all of my decimals are lined up, but I have 2 digits behind the decimal in some numbers, and I only have 1 digit behind the decimal in others. So I need to add zeros. Add a 0 here, now I have 2 digits. Come down here, add a 0, now I have 2 digits behind the decimal there as well. I start with my largest number, or my greatest place value. In this particular instance, it'll be the tens place. Each one of the digits here is a 1, so I can cross those out because they're equal. But now I have a 3, and then the rest are 4s. So this will be my smallest number. So I'm just going to put a 1 here because that's my smallest number. Now I'm going to go to the other digits. These are 4s, so they're the same so far. But now when I go here, let me cross this out so we're not confused. I have a 3, a 0, and a 4. Out of these 3 digits, which one is the smallest? 0. So that's my second one. Let me cross that out. But then I have a 3 and a 4. 3 is smaller than 4. So that would be my third. And then this one will be my last. So if I'm listing these digits, these numbers, in order from least to greatest, it would be 13 and 9 tenths, 14 and 5 hundredths, 14 and 37/100ths, and then 14 and 4/10. The first thing that we're going to do is line up the decimals. Place my decimal there, have an 8 and a 7. Decimal there, 7, 5. Place my decimal here, have a 2 and a 5, and then a 1 on the opposite side. I place my decimal here, and I have an 8. I have 2 numbers behind the decimal, except for here, so I need to add a 0. I have 1 number on this side of the decimal, and I don't have any here, so I'm going to add a 0. Now again, I'm going from least to greatest. So if I start here, I already know that this one has to be the greatest because it has the largest number in the ones place. These 3 don't have any. So I'm going to make this my 4. Now I'm trying to find the smallest number. I go to the next place value. I have an 8, a 7, and an 8. So this is my smallest one because this is a 7, these 2 are 8s. Now we're just down to 80 and 87. 80 is smaller than 87, so this would be my 2. 87 would be my 3. So if I'm listing these numbers from smallest or least to greatest, my first number would be 75/100ths. The second number would be 8/10ths. The third number would be 87/100ths. And the greatest number will be 1 and 25/100ths.
Everything I do, everything I do, everything I do it in a boss way.